Welcome back to Houston Life. Her courageous life story as a plane crash survivor seems like it's out of the pages of a book. So it's only fitting that singer Kechi Okwuchi decided to put her experiences in a memoir.
It's called More Than My Scars, and we're joined by the now author and recording artist to chat about this latest project. It's so great to have you back in studio. Welcome, Kechi.
Thank you guys so much. Good to see you guys.
It's great to see you. I know this book has been a while. So many people were telling you to write the book, including one person who means a lot to you, Simon Cowell, who wrote the foreword here. What was that like for you to have him part of this book?
Honestly, very unexpected. I feel like ever since I appeared on AGT, he has been extremely supportive, which is very different from what the image that you see him portray. I got a very different side of him. And he's just always given me that vibe of someone who wants me to kind of succeed in what she does. So it was so great for him to volunteer to actually do this for me. And it encouraged me too in the writing process.
2017 was the year we first saw you and fell in love with you on America's Got Talent. You returned 2 years later, Kechi, to compete on the Champions episode, and that was the big night that Simon gave you the golden buzzer, an incredible moment that I know you'll never forget. But you said that your experience on the show really helped you see yourself as more than just a survivor.
This is exactly true. So far, up until that point, that was my story. It was plane crash survivor, it was burn survivor, and I was wearing that, as part of my identity with pride because I knew that a lot of other burn survivors, appreciated that representation that I was giving in the community. But AGT was the first time I was able to kind of spread that awareness of burn survivors on a more, global or national scale. And it ended up being just a really great time on the show. Honestly, I had a blast, and I don't know if I'll do it again. It was very nerve-wracking.
Never say never.
I know, yeah, but it was very cool. It was very cool, and like you said, I'll never forget that buzzer moment. It was so cool.
We are all better for it because when we hear someone's stories or know what they've gone through and persevere and hear your beautiful voice, I think we can all pause and learn from something like this because we never know what anybody else is going through.
That is true.
And for people who don't know details and specifics about your story, of course, you cover it in your book. You talk about in that very first chapter waking up and the pain and realizing what was happening to you. The plane crash happened in Nigeria in 2005. What I can tell you, tell the people is you were left with third-degree burns over 65% of your body. You were treated here in Galveston at Shriners Children's Hospital. I know people want you want to have other people see you beyond your scars, and that is obviously the title of your book. But it's a daily reminder for you.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, I'm very happy to identify as a burn survivor because I feel like that's a voice that's necessary. But, like everyone else, we all have different facets to us, and AGC is a platform that allowed me to share a whole different side of me that I think a lot of people aside from friends and family didn't know, and just added one more layer, really, and I feel like that's life. All of us, we go through things that allow us to add more layers to our identities because we're not just one, we're not linear, we have different parts of us that all matter equally. So I love the opportunity to kind of show people more about who I am. I mean, I'm pretty sure no one knew I wrote or had any interest in writing. So being able to share that part of my creativity was also a really big privilege for me.
Well,
so,
interesting people write interesting books, Kechi, and it really is remarkable to see some of these photos. You have been on quite a journey. 107 people died in that plane crash. You were one of 2 survivors. Writing this book, I was thumbing through the book before the show. You're very honest and raw about what you were thinking and feeling in that moment. Talk to us about the process of writing the book. Was it difficult for you or was it healing for you?
It was both for sure. Cathartic, very big part of that was a cathartic process. But I feel like it was definitely, something that I've always felt had to be done at some point, but I never had the courage to do so because I knew that doing so would involve delving into memories that I would prefer to keep buried forever, especially in the beginning. First, I was treated in South Africa before I came to America for reconstructive surgery, and that phase of my life in South Africa is the hardest phase of my life ever, throughout, so that was where all the hard things had to be done and learned, and I've just never thought about that part of my life since it happened. But I knew to write this book to be fully, open and honest about my experience, and to let people see that, this person they see here today didn't just, it wasn't dramatic, or like, it wasn't just like I was born like this. There was a lot that went into becoming who I am today. And so I had to show that nitty-gritty part if I was going to write this book, and so I couldn't avoid South Africa. And so delving into those memories was definitely cathartic, so I can say it was necessary to go through those emotions and remind myself of how it, like, process it basically,
Yeah.
But also the main reason was to share that the process of healing through trauma. I feel like a lot of us can identify with that, whether it's physical or invisible, and I wanted people to relate to that part of my story. So,
and I know that you work with other burn victims too,
Yes,
and I'm sure this book will help. But I would imagine that's very important too, to meet with survivors.
Oh, big time. I mean, that's something I was doing before America's Got Talent, and now after the show, I got a chance to meet other communities of burn survivors. There's so many people out there in different parts of America and beyond, and so having a chance to kind of represent them on that kind of platform, I think it was important to them, made them feel more seen, and I was happy to be someone that was representing that for burn survivors. So definitely this book was mainly for them, because I want them to see. I mean, I have a lot of people who I know from, just being a burn survivor, that would be like, wow, I can relate to this and that part of the book. But then there's other people too who don't have anything to do with burns, but like still understand what it means to go through trauma. So it's for everyone, really.
Yeah.
It is incredible, Kechi, that you're sharing your story so open like this. I know you'll be such a huge inspiration, more than you've already been.
I hope so.
But published author now, Kechi, what about the music world? Are you working on new music? We have to ask.
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking. So I actually have music I came out with earlier this year. It's on all music platforms, and it's my first ever debut album. It's original songs. I worked with a bunch of people I was on AGT with, for different, so there's duets there and stuff. And there's, I think, a little bit of something for everyone in terms of genre. But I feel like down the line, my main niche is probably going to be, I guess, Christian contemporary, just because that's the kind of music I really enjoy. Right. And so I'm actually currently working on like I want to say mini Christian album-ish, I actually started recording last week, and this is actually going to include songs that I wrote as well, not co-wrote, but like wrote myself. So I think that's the most exciting part of this, expressing myself, and my faith in this way, to like kind of combine two things I love so much, music and faith. So I hope people receive it well. But in the meantime, there's just type in Kechi on Spotify, wherever you want Apple Music, and you'll find different kinds of songs from me there, really. So yeah, it's been fun, really, still, doing music and kind of doing both, just kind of pursuing everything I love to do, all my passions. I feel like now is the time to do that, so I'm just trying my best in every interest I have.
Oh, congratulations. Nice. We're so honored to have you here today and to catch up, and congratulations on the book as well.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Kechi Okwuchi, read the book. I recommend it. More Than My Scars is available now everywhere books are sold. For a link to connect with Kechi, you can visit the Scene on Houston Life section of our website. And of course, you can listen to her, as you just heard, anywhere music streams as well.